ikultura, lingwahe, airi, hanum zanitano tsamoro. Si irinshaku diretsu gininazu ustata. Esti huafit magihilu Biblia, zanibandirahu, banderang buahan.
Please be seated. Thank you very much. That was very nice. I'd like to also recognize Senator James Moylan, who has joined us in the virtual stream. Next, please, I would like to call on Mr. Miguel Berdalio, General Manager of the Guam Waterworks Authority, to give the welcoming remarks. Miguel.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this special meeting and administration of the oath of office for the Consolidated Commission on Utilities. This commission will provide organizational governance for the Guam Power Authority and the Guam Waterworks Authority for the next 2 years, as it has done since its inception. This will be the 10th commission providing such governance, and as many of you know all too well, governance of any organization carries with it many challenges, not the least of which is managing management. John and I don't usually compare notes or discuss which of us is more of a challenge when it comes to our 5 bosses, but I feel like I spend much more time in the principal's office, so I'm going to say it's me. But besides that challenge, I can attest there are many more. And from my perspective, being here for 5 years as GWA's general manager, being on the CCU is not an easy job. I've seen firsthand that the incoming and current members of this commission are fully engaged in the challenges that face our utilities to achieve regulatory compliance, to fund, plan, and execute system renewals and rehabilitation, to bring our business processes and systems into the rapidly evolving and increasingly complex digital age, and to find solutions to the less technical but more fundamental resource problem of attracting and retaining qualified and talented personnel. Some of these challenges are experienced by many organizations, and in any other time or circumstance, these alone would be daunting. In the face of the current global pandemic, the challenges are even more so. Utility services in this public health emergency are as critically important as ever. Yet governments and utilities that provide these services across the nation are facing unprecedented revenue shortfalls. Critical operations must continue despite COVID-19 impacts to staffing. Capital projects must continue despite COVID-19 impacts to available funding. The mission and objectives of our utilities have not changed, but the rules of engagement with this terrible virus continue to shift and evolve. And while it may seem that this talk of challenges and difficult times is somber, I do not mention them to add apprehension or cast a pall over these proceedings, but rather to paint the background against which to highlight the past progress that the CCU has helped us to achieve, and to acknowledge with hope and optimism the public service about to be undertaken by these incoming commissioners for the betterment of our community. Under the leadership of the CCU, GWA is one item away from completing the 2011 court order. We've spent hundreds of millions of dollars in new infrastructure investments, and we're in the process of executing our third 5-year capital improvement program. GPA is one of the leading utilities in the region for utility scale renewable energy, and will soon have a new, modern, flexible, and efficient generation plant, adding resiliency and sustainability to our power system. There's been significant progress to date, yet a lot of work remains to be done, and we know it cannot be done without the full and unwavering commitment of these commissioners. With that in mind, Mr. Beneventi and I express our appreciation to the commissioners and commissioners-elect for undertaking this important public service, for the courage and willingness to do it in these extremely challenging times, and for the past and continued cooperation and collaboration with the many stakeholders in our island's utilities, including our governor, lieutenant governor, our legislative oversight committees, our One Guam partners at NAFAC and Joint Region Marianas, our technical and scientific advisors at WERI and UOG, and yes, even our zealous regulators at Guam EPA and the Public Utilities Commission. Your action and your leadership are essential to our progress and our success. Commissioners-elect Duenas and Gutherts, on behalf of the management and staff of GPA and GWA, we express our congratulations to you. And to all of the commissioners, the women and men of GPA and GWA look forward to rolling up our sleeves and continuing the important work of improving our island utilities for the people of Guam. My thanks to everyone for your attention and for participating today in the initial proceedings of the 10th Consolidated Commission on Utilities. Jesus Masi.
Thank you, Miguel. Thank you very much. I'd also like to recognize our viewing public and also our ratepayers, of course, for joining us today. And at this time, I would like to invite the Honorable F. Philip Carbolito, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Guam, here to the podium to lead today's proceeding by calling the meeting to order.
Thank you, John. Buenas and half a day. Maybe I should do this because this meeting will be called to order as your initial presiding officer. I want to thank, before we proceed with the administering the oath, with thanking the commissioners for inviting me back to swear in the newly elected officers. I think it's been 7 years since the last time, and the room that I remembered administering the oath was a little more modest than where we find ourselves today, but congratulations. It's a beautiful building. So at this time, I will call the meeting to order as your initial presiding officer. And I would like first to certify the presence, and when I call your name, to please stand and be recognized. I will start with Commissioner Michael A. Limtiaco. Mr. Limtiaco, Commissioner Simon A. Sanchez, and Mr. Sanchez, and Commissioner Francis Santos. And so you've remained seated, and so thank you, and we will proceed then with the newly re-elected commissioners to the commission. We will start with Mr. Joseph T. Duenas. Mr. Duenas, if you stand up, and Ms. Judith P. Gutherts. And your certificates have been presented to the chair. I have found all the certificates to be in order, certificates of election, and we can proceed with the ceremonial part of this meeting and administering the oath of office. And so I would like to ask the two of you to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I solemnly swear that I will well and faithfully support the Constitution of the United States, the laws of the United States, and the laws of Guam, and that I will conscientiously and impartially discharge my duties as a commissioner of the 10th Consolidated Commission on Utilities. Congratulations. Okay, so now you may be seated. We will proceed with the first business on the agenda. And at this time, I will call for nominations on the floor for the position of Chairman of the 10th Consolidated Commission on Utilities. Mr. Sanchez, you are recognized. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you raised your hand. Mr. Sanchez, you are recognized. Okay, so Mr. Joseph Duenas has been nominated to be the chairman. Do you accept, Mr. Duenas. And is there any other nominations? Mr. Santos? Okay, is there a motion to close the nomination? Okay, it's been moved. Any objection to closing the nomination? There being none, nominations are closed. On the main question, on the election of the chairman of the 10th Consolidated Commission on Utilities, Mr. Joseph T. Duenas has been nominated. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, Mr. Duenas, you've been unanimously re-elected as chairman of the commission. I congratulate you, and I ask you to please come forward and preside over the remaining part of this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my fellow commissioners, for the honor of being elected by you to serve as your chairman for another 2 years. We now will move on to the office of the vice chairman. So I open the floor for nomination for vice chairman. Commissioner Gutherts. Thank you. Are there any other nominations? Is there a motion? Is there a motion to close the nominations? As there are no other, the nominations for CCU Vice Chairman is now closed. On the nomination, all in favor of the nomination, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion is unanimous. Thank you very much. We move on to the nomination for the Secretary of the CCU, Commissioner Gutherts.
Chairman, it's my honor to nominate
Thank you very much, Mr. Michael Minchalco. Do you accept the nomination? Okay. Are there any further nominations? If not, is there a move to? Thank you very much. The nomination for Secretary is hereby closed. All those in favor of the nomination of Commissioner Michael Minchalco to serve as the CCU Secretary, please signify by saying aye and raising your right hand. Okay. Mr. Michael Minchalco is hereby elected as CCU Secretary. Thank you very much. We move on to our agenda. We have standing rules that are in effect that we have approved and adopted previously. Is there a wish from the body to make any changes or to re-adopt the standing rules, or what's the pleasure of the commissioners? Commissioner Gutherts.
Chairman, I move to adopt the CC standing rules as approved on June 23rd.
To re-adopt, okay. Is there a second to that motion? Second. Further discussion? None? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimous. Based on our CCU rules, we have several standing committees, and we are electing chairmen for the different standing committees. I now open the floor for the nomination for the chairman for the CCU Finance and Budget Committee. Commissioner Sanchez. Finance and Budget. Commissioner Francis Santos, do you accept the nomination? Okay. Is there a motion to close the nomination? Okay. I move that the nomination is hereby closed. All those in favor of Commissioner Francis Santos to be the chairman of the Finance and Budget Committee signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimous. We now have the commission, the committee, the chairperson for the Committee on Audit Committee. Is there a nomination from the floor? Commissioner Francis Santos, you're recognized. Commissioner Gutherts, you accept the nomination? Yes. Okay, are there any further nominations? Move to close the nomination. Okay, the motion to close the nominations has been done. All, the nominations are hereby closed. All those in favor of Commissioner Judith Guthridge to be the chairperson of the CCU Audit Committee signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries, unanimous. We now move to the chairperson for the CCU Cybersecurity Committee. Is there a nomination? Commissioner Guthridge. Commissioner Mchako, do you accept the nomination? Okay, are there any other nominations? The nominations are hereby closed. All those in favor of Commissioner Michael Mchako to be the chairperson of the Cybersecurity Committee signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimous. I now open the floor for the commission, for the chairperson of the CCU CCU Communications Committee. Commissioner Guthridge. Commissioner Sanchez, do you accept the nomination? Is there any further nominations? If there's no further nominations, there's move to close the nominations? Okay, that's fine. All those in favor of Commissioner Sanchez serving as the chairperson for the CCU Communications Committee signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimous. Okay, yes, we'll do that later. Yes. I'm sorry, Commissioner Francis Santos.
Honor to nominate Commissioner Michael.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's right, we forgot that one. Second, Commissioner Mchako, do you accept the nomination? Okay. Okay. Okay, all those in favor, since the nominations are now closed, all those in favor of Commissioner Michael Mchako to serve as the chairman or chairperson for the Rules Committee signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimous. I have been instructed to remind us that we need to sign the certificate or the certificate of swearing in. So are we going to do that now before we adjourn the meeting? Okay. Okay. So there's any other business before the commission? Oh, no, that was just in case. Yeah. So if there's no other business before the commission, chair is open. Move to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, nay. Motion carries. This meeting of the CCU's inauguration and swearing-in ceremony is hereby adjourned.
One more time with your pen to the paper. Let's do one without and then one with. Yeah.